We are the Nerd Eternal Network.
I know I'm not the one. Don't fake it, well, you don't belong to me.
Alright, hello everyone, this time for sure.
Hello,
Welcome
hello.
to the newest game, streaming on the both the Dire Bear Adventuring Company Twitch channel and the Nerd Eternal Network's Twitch channel. This is a joint effort between the two of us. The new game is Esper Genesis, the system. It's a sci-fi game in the oh crap. Think something along the lines of Mass Effect or Destiny. You know, it's sci-fi. There's a slight, almost mystical, potentially mystical element to it. The campaign is the Holocaust of the Ekajati. And it will involve the players searching out a mystery of what happened to this extinct species. Or at least that will pop up semi-regularly. We're running very late. We had massive technical issues, but we seem to have everything up and running now. So, welcome to a new game. Hopefully it'll go smoother from here on out. I am the GM for the night, Jason. With me is Eric playing, was it Adrian Steele?
Yep.
Sarah playing, I can't pronounce that name.
She probably just goes by Cat.
We'll go with Cat. Cat I can pronounce. Taylor, pronounce your name.
Let me get back to my sheet. Don Rue.
Just gonna go with first name.
Well, my character's Cash. There's a thing about Cash last names.
Fair enough. And then we have Patrick playing Hull Colram. And not only Cams, we have Zach and Anna playing Francis and Jade, respectively.
Howdy.
Now, granted, Taylor and Patrick aren't on Cams at the moment either, but that's all part of the technical difficulty we've been dealing with. So let us just dive on in. All of you have just arrived in system. You are on your way to wherever. This is just a stop along the way. It's kind of a focal point in some of the local trade routes, travel routes, between two systems. This system does not have a crucible, but it's a good midpoint between a couple of systems that do. The importance of that is, while your ships can all travel faster than light, any of them with that kind of drive that gets within 500 meters, or 500 miles, I forget, of a crucible can sync up with the crucible and initiate a jump, basically instantaneously traveling to another system with the crucible. Of course, that travel that way is limited to systems, that have a crucible, and not all of them do. Crucibles are large, usually moon-sized objects, mostly spherical, built by an unknown species way back. They generate a material that can be used to power most everything in the setting, and once a species has been exposed to the energies of a crucible for a few generations, they begin developing the Esper powers. Kind of psychic powers, kind of magic. It's a little up in the air. In the setting, they don't exactly know how it works. All the player characters are Espers. Having gone through Esper Genesis, that's where the name of the game comes from. And as I said, you are all arriving The station you're arriving at is in orbit above a relatively unimportant agricultural world. It's a little on the mineral poor side, though of course, with space travel, it has asteroid belts. They're capable of building up some industry, but they have concentrated mostly on agriculture. It's a predominantly human planet. Several of your more Luddite cultural elements have moved here. Such as there's a large Amish population on one continent. But visitors to the system rarely go down to the world, though. The station in orbit is pretty much the main stop, and generates a fair amount of revenue for the planetary system. So as your ships have arrived, you find that one of the main docking bays of the station is under repairs, which leaves only one, so of course it's very crowded. Each of you have come in on smaller transports, so they have basically shuttled you in to a smaller docking bays, so that the larger ships that couldn't feasibly do this have access to the main bay. So you should be seeing the map now. At least I think I moved y'all over there.
Can?
So everyone can.
I can. Yeah.
It's a nice little corridor.
Yep.
That's a corridor full of signs of bathrooms. I'm kidding. Don't shoot me.
There's probably bathrooms somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, long corridor in whites and grays, very much utility oriented, not a whole lot of fancy stuff going on. You have monitors on the wall playing local news, kind of the international or galactic news. There's sports programs playing, what have you. All the little stick people you see, miscellaneous folk.
Yeah.
Just a nice.
It's nice to have a token that they're there, though.
Yeah.
Good call.
Innocent bystanders.
Are they innocent? Is anyone
Cover.
really innocent?
The answer to that question is no.
So I have assigned
Yes.
each of you a token. If it doesn't
Okay.
look anything like you think your character should look, don't worry about it. You are free to find you something better. Or if you're an artist, you can always draw your own.
I have dogs. I apologize if you can hear them barking.
Ditto on our part.
Yeah, I guess as we disembark, Adrian's gonna look at Kat. It's like, Kat, really? You brought me to an agricultural. You know what I do. I don't deal with agriculture. Why are we here?
It's not what you deal with. They're not going to look for you. This seems like a perfectly good idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you have gotten us this far, I suppose.
Just find a fancy straw hat and blend in.
You mean like the mask I made for you?
She's like wearing a kind of full face mask and just nods, looks over, gives a
Fair enough. I guess we can see what trouble we can either get into or avoid, if at all possible. Trouble should probably be avoided in this stage, huh?
Alright, so y'all are standing there talking. Zach and Anna. You can probably see yourself down here in this corner.
Yes, sir.
I figure you can spot which one you are, Zach. So the two of you are
Just a little
disembarking
bit.
together.
Yes. So I'm guessing I'm the blue elf guy up top.
Yeah, that was the closest I could find to an Ashen Forge. Alright, so Zach and Anna, y'all are disembarking. What has brought y'all through this system? I mean, everybody that comes through the system is really just going somewhere else, but...
What happened on Beta 5 isn't going to follow us here. I promise you, Jade. What happened on Beta 5, not following us here. We're just going to stop here, get a few drinks, head to one of the bigger systems. You know, someplace we can just get lost in the crowd.
You know, you say that your trouble's not going to follow us, but it usually does.
No. This time, they didn't see our faces. And I'm pretty sure I packed that disguise kit. You know, I'm getting better as a makeup artist.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. What happened on Ilium 4, that was a mistake. That was on me. I'm sorry.
Why did you bring that back up? I had almost forgotten.
Listen, I didn't know you were allergic to it, alright? But, you know, they had pretty good hospitals there. And yeah, we had to leap out a window to get away from the cops, but that happens sometimes. So yeah, let's just get a drink. I'll get us some tickets on the next shuttle out of here. We'll be fine.
Alright, Taylor.
I feel like...
I love this pair
Yes.
already.
You are disembarking over here.
All right.
As you are walking out, a blind man hustles past you quickly. He sort of bumps you. He apologizes over his shoulder, but doesn't slow down. He has a large silver case. Well, you know, I say silver. A large metal case. It's about as large a rectangle as what you'd think of as a typical briefcase, but much thicker. And it looks like it latches at the bottom, where you'd set it down, latch it, and kind of lift the top off.
So immediately something strange to have coming off of an agricultural planet.
If he was going down to the planet, it would be strange. Like I said, this entire station is largely just a pass through to somewhere else. But
That sounds like
it pings
something
you as something of probable value, at least to somebody.
It's not big enough to put like a body in, right?
No, it is not that big. The guy is able to carry it one-handed, though. It looks like it would seem that it's got some weight to it. You know, he's kind of having to adjust his balance.
Well, that sounds like a big old chunk and hunk and not my problem right now. I'm going to continue on getting ready for the next colony ship.
You just look at it and go, not my problem field. Fully powered.
I just finished helping this planet stay stable. I ain't about to make this place unstable. Moving on with my life.
Alright, Patrick. You are unloading up at the north where you've already started your guy. Exiting with you is a family of 3. And you cannot wait to see them walk off somewhere. The little kid was screaming for half the flight. He was bouncing up and down. He was kicking the back of your chair.
The joys of Coach. Just go. All right. And good day to you all, while I calmly walk towards that center kiosk there.
Alright. So this center kiosk here,
Yes, sir.
looks like think a typical mall kiosk. They've got jewelry that's not as fancy as they try to make it out to be. There's timepieces, there's smartphones or comm units, whatever the equivalent would be in this setting, I should say. Communication devices. Typical kind of mall junk. You know, you got a person behind the counter, there's somebody perusing stuff. The worker's got a bored look on their face, like they know this person isn't actually going to buy anything, that they're just perusing because they're bored. You know, the grayer areas there tend to be the walkways. You know, in that middle area, you know, you've got the typical kind of potted plant trees. And let's see, from where you're standing, really everybody could spot this here, which is basically a food dispensing vending machine. Think of it less as, you know, it's not like candy bars. If you go up, you order a meal, it prepares the meal and presents it to you. Kind of a robotic, I guess.
It's one of those automatic hamburger vending machine.
Yeah, something more like that, yeah.
So it's basically like the general waiting area of like an airport right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking. Like, this is a walkway from two different parts of the station.
Let's see, and by checking my total queue bill, I can tell you that I can't buy anything at the kiosk, so...
All you could do is peruse for the fun of it, too.
Yes, so I shall do that.
And to answer your question, Bubba, you haven't missed much. We had a lot of technical issues slowing us down, so we are really just getting started introducing everybody. But thank you and everybody else that's shown up so far. Alright, so you've all just stepped off. There's people moving around. Where do y'all head from here?
Kat's gonna find one of the view screens that's broadcasting news and see what's happening, if anything's followed.
Those are here, 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 and here. These small units right here are basically communicate. Think of them as payphones, essentially, as well as spots where you could download, you know, software to a computer, or, you know, imagine a pay smartphone if they had that set up somewhere.
Let's see, while she's doing that, Adrian is going to come down here to this bench, take a seat, pull out his totally not a Switch, and just start playing video games while she does them.
Playing some Smash Sisters 67.
Yeah, something like that.
There's a woman sitting across from you that seems to be engrossed in probably a book, because she's looking down at her little tablet, and just every now and then swipes a finger across, so you assume she's reading. There's an unaccompanied child over here that you assume is hers, because, you know, she's the closest adult.
Yeah.
But it's just sort of dancing around, you know, playing around in the trees.
Fair enough.
There's a couple of three people at the vending machine.
I'll say, just because he's curious, he's going to look at her tablet and activate his virtual display power.
Okay.
Just so he can see what she's...
It makes you blush.
Okay, yeah, he'll turn it off immediately.
It would probably bill itself as a romance novel, but it's stretching the definition.
It's fair. Yeah, he'll, because basically, like, what that does, they'll show up a screen that only he can see.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, that power doesn't specifically say that it doesn't have to be something that is not in use. Which, and so he'll look at it, like, read probably the first paragraph and go, nope, and then turn it off. And then go back to his... Gasp of the wilderness.
That's a good book name.
I am not coming up with titles for that thing. Anyway.
Thrust into space.
That's so good it hurts.
No.
Alright, so what is our lizard man and his friend doing down here?
Francis is gonna take a look at the next few shuttles out of here, see which ones are the cheapest and farthest away from Beta 4.
Okay. You can do that at this little computer here.
And we cannot move our token.
You cannot? Oh, hang on a second.
Yeah, I can't move mine either, but I'll just
Alright.
deal with that when I can.
Alright,
that's
because I'm
right.
moving.
You guys were not on here when I... Alright, so...
The three of us in the north are special. We can move ourselves.
Awesome.
Look, in the other game, in the Icons game for Nerd Eternal, I have this problem every single game because I control 7 characters.
Oh god.
Yeah, in our Foundations of Adelar game for Dire Bear on Mondays, I'm a druid that summons things a lot and transforms into stuff because he's a Circle of the Moon druid.
And you don't have access to those icons?
I have to ask him for it every day.
I'm a duplicator. Every single duplicate I make, I have to ask for.
Yeah. Shenanigans abound, but I feel your pain. I understand it, trust me.
Kindred spirits.
Kindred spirits.
No. The fun thing about his duplicator, though, is they all look the same, except each one's in a different color. So he presents himself as a Super Sentai team.
Yeah, I amuse Sir Cap when I summoned 16 wolves on goblins. And he had to hand me 16 tokens of wolves I had individual control of.
I did not see the end of that fight, but I saw the beginning of it.
Yeah,
I saw
that
where all
one
the
was
wolves are
interesting.
showing up.
Yeah, that was me. I'm just like, you know what? Screw you, hiding goblins, wolves.
All right.
Anyway.
Has everybody got control of their tokens now?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. So let's see. All right. So Taylor, the blonde guy, takes off past you. Like I said, he bumps into you. Turns around enough to look at you and apologize, but doesn't really slow down. He doesn't look scared or nervous. It's like, he just looks like he's in a hurry. Like he knows he's got to get to the far side of the station.
Like a 5-minute connector window gap.
Oh, jeez. Trying to get from one end of the airport to another in a hurry with like a 20-minute connecting flight.
That's the impression.
Yeah,
That's kind of the impression he gets, yes.
I feel that man's pain so much.
The second layer of hell.
Yeah.
Well, I see a child and I see nature, so I'm headed this way. Because there's a child who might break a piece of that tree, and that tree is not planted in a place that it can grow that break off very easily. So I'm going to go warn that child to please not break anything on this tree. Because the tree can't heal it off very well, because it's in a space station. There's not good dirt.
That's true. That is very true. Just one second. I realized I forgot to pull something up.
Hopefully the child will not be scared that I'm literally in, soldier armor, but
What even
It
are
looks- Just looks back up at you like
uh,
terrified.
I'm Kesh, so it's,
Oh.
bald,
Like that.
black eyes.
Wow, Eric, do we have some bias against the Kesh? I'm Kesh. Oh.
No, it's more of like I'm recognizing just what this might look like to a child.
Well, I mean, it's a space child.
If it's a
Probably
cosmopolitan,
seen aliens before.
if he's from a cosmopolitan world, he would have. Now, what would be
Yeah, that's
intimidating
fair.
about Taylor, or about
Donru.
Donru, is that as a sentinel, his rig is kind of embedded in him, and it's probably kind of noticeable.
Yeah, but it's mostly underneath. It mostly just looks like it's more armor.
That's still,
'Cause
but
I
it's
have-
still a dude walking through the airport
In
like
full
big
armor, yeah.
tactical battle armor kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Walk through Huntsville Airport in Space Marine armor and see what looks you get.
These
Well,
bandoliers
Space
are
Marines
purely decorative.
To be fair, if I walked through Huntsville Airport with a Space Force uniform on, they'd congratulate me because I'd be the new guy from Space Force. This is Alabama. That's our two favorite things in Huntsville slapped together, which is space and the military.
Yeah, I know. I live here.
You make a fair point there.
I'm a Huntsville native myself, so I understand.
Born and raised, too.
So anyway, are the trees healthy? Or do they need something?
Relatively. Given that they're in a space station, that they're just there for decorative purposes, they seem to be getting decent care.
Good.
The kid is really just kind of grabbing the trunks because they're not real big around it, and kind of doing that whole spin around them thing that we all did as kids. Have no reason, no idea why we did.
Oh, it's to mess with your ears. Children don't have a great sense of balance. By disrupting it and letting it settle, it helps them develop better balance. And they do it naturally.
It's instinct.
The more you know.
Let's say Biology 101, brought to you by...
A not human.
Yeah.
Well, you've traveled with humans. You've studied humans.
I've made plenty of food for humans. None from.
I'm glad you specified.
Well,
no
why?
one's really assuming? Then you said it.
Now I'm disturbed.
Look,
What?
it's not cannibalism if he's
said
not human.
I also said I haven't eaten people. Well, I haven't cooked people.
If
Make
they're
it
raw, it
specific.
doesn't really even count.
It's like
As I look up,
sashimi.
as I look over for my bowl of soylent, and go, what?
Okay. Cat, what are you doing?
She is listening to see if there's any news of what happened on the homeworld, where she was, like, what caused her to leave, if any of it's following her,
Okay.
or if it made the news, or if they're trying to keep it quiet.
So that has just happened? Y'all have just gotten
Within the last
Have
week
you-
or
Yeah,
so.
say within the last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then in the little bit that you had a chance to watch, you don't see anything that refers to it.
Okay, and she's just gonna go over and sit down and be like, "Hey, so far they haven't reported anything about it, or they're keeping it quiet and are sending a death squad after us. One of the two."
Well, honestly, I prefer the first option as opposed to, the latter. But, I did my best to cover our tracks. At least format that I know how.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We probably won't know if it happens.
Well, yeah, knowing my luck, I'll just be, sitting here playing on my game console here, and then suddenly my head will be in 5 different pieces, splattered against the far wall, and then, that's the end of me. But, there's a lot of interesting people in here. And he'll just sort of look around and see if he spots anybody interesting, aka the Kesh. Go over by the trees.
The big soldier guy with a bunch of patches on his shoulder.
She's just like watching the child, like, "Oh God, please behave, please behave."
He'll just sort of lean over towards guys like, think he's gonna try to eat the kid.
I don't think so.
I certainly hope not. That might be bad.
Just kind of gives him a deadpan look. Just looks over like, "You think?"
Yeah, sometimes.
Just kind of shakes her head and just people watches.
Yeah, he'll go back to his game again now that that conversation's over, but he'll occasionally look up, see if he spots anybody interesting moving around.
Okay. Francis,
Yes, sir.
you have your head down, you're typing on the computer. Well, touchscreen, there's a couple of flights leaving before too much longer. So you're checking prices. I am blanking on what was her character's name. Jade. What is your passive perception, Jade?
Let me check. A 10.
Okay. Well, they both roll poop, so. So, you know, Francis is sitting there working on the computer. You're just standing around, you know, keeping an eye out. You notice two men. One of them had been standing over by the trees, fiddling with his comm. One of them had been over going through the menu on the robo server. Both of them almost simultaneously stopped what they were doing and started marching over kind of towards you. That's this guy here and this guy here.
I'm gonna nudge Francis and kind of get his attention and give him, like, you know, our little, tell him that what's up, and probably move over here. Move over here.
Huh? What? Oh.
I blame this on you.
I do.
Also, I would like to go someplace warm, maybe with a beach.
Okay, do you have an extra 500 credits on you? Didn't think so.
You might.
So you're watching them. Other people are, you know, moving around. It's always talking. Dandrew, you're watching the child, kind of checking out the plant. Suddenly you hear a man call out, and the child looks up and runs over to him. He's got a very concerned look on his face as he looks in your direction.
I'll wave and start checking the other trees to make sure they're still good. I have my little data pad out, taking notes.
Alright, Francis and Jade. Oh, and Patrick, as you move around the kiosk, the family seems to be following you. They're not paying you any attention, but it's like every time you move, they just end up moving closer to you.
Child's gonna kick the back of your seat in the afterlife.
Only if he goes to the bad place.
There you go.
And I'm guessing,
You're guessing what now?
I'm guessing I see the other two Descript people following this other Descript person.
What's your passive perception?
13.
You don't really notice that they're following him. Or following anybody. After all, they don't really look more descript to you than anybody else. Your character can't tell that they've got, you know, unique pogs. You do, however, see them reach up under their coats and start to pull out handguns.
One of the things also, too, is this from my techie background. Can I immediately understand their quality and the types? That's actually the background feature of the techie that I have.
Another techie, yay!
That you can immediately recognize the
it says you are an expert of quality and rarity of electronics. Oh, that's mechanical devices, not weapons in general. Okay. So it might be at least be able to tell the equipment they have is nice, but not the actual weapon itself.
I went ahead and linked it on Roll20. Adrian is also a techie.
Yeah.
To be fair, with how future tech this is, guns would probably be considered a machine.
Because I actually think one of the hacker options is to be able to disable their weapons.
I mean, you'd probably be able to tell, like, at least if they're new guns or old guns.
They don't look brand spanking new. They don't look in bad shape. They don't look particularly old. Francis and Jade, since you guys are you guys were already kind of watching these people. You, of course, see them go for their guns. Everybody else is not really in a position to notice.
I'm not even going to try, because Adrian's nose is deep in with handheld game console. I'm not even going to make that attempt, because I know better.
So for everybody over on this side of the board, this is effectively going to be a surprise round. For everybody over here, yeah, it's going to be a normal round of combat. So I need initiative rolls out of everybody.
Okie dokie.
What's your initiative, baby?
Okay.
It rolled me twice for some reason.
That was very hard.
Oh, all these people with nice, already made journals.
Yeah, this is what happens when you leave Sarah and I having enough time to actually modify the character sheet to fit the campaign.
Oh, let's see it.
And just to ask, this is a noob roll 20 question. Does it actually have to populate what it rolled, or should it auto-populate?
If you click your icon and then click your initiative, it will put it into the turn order automatically.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to make sure you have your icon clicked when you click your initiative roll. If you don't, it won't put it into the turn order.
Well, Patrick does not have, I don't think his sheet is done yet.
You can also, in the turn order, click on the number next to your token, and you can manually put your initiative.
Okay, yeah, I've got that.
For any token you have control over.
Alright, let me roll for them three guys. He's got a...
Also, Anna, I see you. I see
My
you're having
curse
a
holds
similar
strong.
curse. In the...
Any roller, and it knows it's her, and it rolls low.
Sounds like somebody else has my curse. Either that or you took my curse and ran off with it, in which case, thank you very much. I appreciate your sacrifice.
Way to take one for the team, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is terrible. Alright, give me a second.
That is a lot of D20. Jesus, how many dudes are on this map?
50-11.
I'm
Oh,
good, thank you. There's 50-11 agents
It's
just...
be a one shot.
Yeah.
Well,
No, there's 50-11 agents just going back into his game and not moving.
So how'd the
It's
game
like,
go
what
last
the-
night? It was a TPK. First round.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd had too many energy drinks. I just kept yelling, "Here's a cat for your ass," and wouldn't stop rolling dice.
it's like
Patrick,
like
how
when
many
you
D20s
pre-ordered
did
a
you
Call
roll?
of Duty game.
For some reason, it's not showing the number.
Have you got the chat window? The little speech bubble?
Okay, actually, no, that is reduced. I was trying to clear screen for me.
Okay.
That might explain that then.
I heard him talking about
But to
dice
be
rolls,
fair-
and I looked over and realized, oh, it's all Patrick's they're talking about. Okay. All right, but your first one is a 20, so go with that one.
Okay.
Let's say, what you can do is...
Yeah,
For
okay.
whichever character you're controlling, if you look in the turn order, whichever one of those tokens is the token for your character, you should be able to type in the number to the right of that token, and that'll put you in the order.
Actually, one in my case.
All right, so That got a 15.
You-
And I heard y'all talking about Anna rolling low. Oh, she did roll low.
Hmm.
Alright, so let's go.
Okay, I just sincerely apologize for the sheer number of dice rolls.
No, you're
We'll
fine.
live. It didn't crash the program, so we're okay.
Try harder.
Try hard. Okay.
Alright, is that everybody? Listed
Just let me
correctly?
play a class that summons things. I can try harder.
No.
Alright,
This is
top
why
of the
you don't
order
let me play mages
is
in games.
Patrick.
Okay,
Or I should say Hull.
so Hull realizes that there is a unfortunate number of guns being pulled out. So let's see what my options are right now. Since it's obvious they're... Let me double check to see how this little feature works. 2, 7. Okay, that's good. That'd be great when we actually are a party, but currently we are not. So.
I get to boost all my buddies. And I'm here alone.
All by myself.
All by myself. Okay.
That is
All
I know
right,
that
we-
from all of you.
All right, we've got. Well, just as they approach, all of a sudden you see a bunch of spherical, like the backpack. You see a bunch of spherical drones come out.
You're an engineer, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Okay. We're gonna get along great.
Let's see.
Except that he hates you and you're kind.
Also, just ask. Were you one of the warriors or?
You'll find out as you get to know him.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hold my action right now because I have several things that I can do, a lot of which are kind of destructive, so I don't want to actually use them until, I know this is going to end badly.
You
Let
wanna
me make it worse.
You want to make sure when security shows up, everybody doesn't point at you. He started it.
Exactly.
Alright, so you basically let those drones out?
Yes.
Okay.
And now I'm holding my action, so I won't move.
Okay. Zay, this is a prize round as far as you are concerned.
She just heard some noises. Like, what? Huh?
And Francis.
What do you think, Jade? It's gonna go south for us specifically, or
I feel like we should just
Engineer.
scream and draw security's attention and just run for it.
all right? Francis just takes in a deep breath. They got a gun! Points right at these two.
They turn their heads slightly, which is when you realize they weren't looking at you two at all.
Oh, wait.
Doesn't matter.
Crap.
Oh, that's all right. It's fine. Let him go. It's great. They're not after us.
I think they are now.
Alright, do
Nah.
you take an action, or do you move, or do you just shout that?
Gonna move. And that'll be it.
Alright. this one here has pulled his gun. And he shoots at the blonde fellow that was walking past you. Ooh, he gets multi-attack. Nice.
Not things you want to hear as level 1 characters.
It is my favorite thing playing with Jason, is the fact he will make a character. He will begin playing that character against you and go, "Oh, I forgot he could do this. You made him."
He's got power word kill?
I have witnessed.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You know, I have literally done that before with Power Word Kill. Oh yeah, he does have these.
Reminds me of the time I played a lore wizard and I assassinated somebody with power word kill from a mile away.
Sounds like fun. Hang on, drop it down.
Yeah.
So you're saying you were light, basically. Got it.
This is why Sarah doesn't typically let me play casters in her campaigns anymore.
Well, if it makes
I
you
have
feel
a
any
lot
better,
of-
I was looking at the wrong stat block. This one does not have. The one I was looking at was a CR. Would have been a CR4, which is not what I'm throwing at y'all. This.
I was about to say,
It's great first game, guys. Let's roll new characters.
How about the things you don't want to hear is level 1? Oh, it's got multi-attack. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, thank you, come back in.
Natural 20.
Eh.
Another chance
He
to
ain't,
use my
he ain't
sci-fi
shoot none of us.
Star Spangly dice. Alright, so he pegs the blonde guy right in the back. You know, he doesn't go down. You know, it's one shot. He's all right. Put these guys' healths in right quick. Should have done that earlier. Didn't think about it. All the other shenanigans going on.
At least we got it working.
Yes, that is mostly. Somebody on this Twitch was saying it was stuttering a little bit earlier, but frankly, I don't know what to do about it, so we shall simply have to persevere. Alright, so he took yay amount of damage. And then it is Arden's turn. It's a surprise round for you. Though you did hear someone scream, he's got a gun. Or they've got guns, or whatever it was. But you're not sure who they were talking about, because the gun guys have their backs to you. And then it is the other gun guy. Oh, and he rolls a 1, so his shot goes wide. Which actually causes it to go zipping right by Francis's head.
Oh, God!
And into the wall over here. Now, in this section you're in, the walls are all window.
God.
It's like you've got, you know, the floor like you can see it, and it's all like what looks like glass going around it. You know, you're all perfectly aware that it's not actually glass, it's transparent aluminum, but, you know, it's still disconcerting to see a laser blast go flying into it.
Yeah.
So, small arms fire a station's walls should take. Even a station as old as this one.
That's not tested.
Oh, yeah, I meant to ask a question about lore.
Yes.
So you said this was an Amish community?
No, I said there was a fairly large Amish community on the planet.
Alright, so like future Amish, do they move the time frame forward? Do they like not access anything after the 70s now? Or is it the same year they cut off for technology?
Much like in the real world, they use more tech than you think, but never for anything that they don't have to have it for.
Okay.
For example, the Amish, most of the Amish get vaccines and all that kind of stuff. Some of them that have to have it for their business, that even have computers, they just have really stripped down ones that don't play video or don't do anything except the job they need it to do.
Yeah.
So they would board to get the land they needed, and where they could be left alone, yada yada yada. They would board a spaceship if they had to.
But as far as living style, it's the same as
more or less
today. Okay.
They'd have access to the better medical facilities and whatnot. But yeah, if you went down to the planet, they are still building their own houses. They are still using horse and cart, or some beast of burden and cart.
To be fair, in space, we probably have a better animal than horse.
I don't know. Horse is pretty good.
They are not. They are a horrible design.
Break a leg and you gotta kill them.
They're not like break their fingers they walk on, and you gotta
They
kill
use
them.
cash.
Stop that! Just stop that! What? I said one thing. Someone else said something about me eating a child, and now you think cash are monsters.
That's just Patrick making
It's
himself feel
now
better.
canon.
Because he has gone through an entire D&D, 2 or 3, 4 year D&D campaign, where his character was from Carthage. So everywhere he goes, has accused him of either sacrificing children or eating children or all the things they used to say about the that culture. So this is just him, turning the tables.
Venting is what the word is you're looking for.
That was it. Years of, pent-up anger over it. Alright. Oh, Blondie goes. Let's see. That blasted him was pretty harmful. Yeah, he takes a pot shot at one of them. And I believe misses by a pretty wide margin. And then he runs 10, 15, 20. He runs down this way. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20. And kind of ducks behind this father and his child. Not like crouching,
And
but gets them between him and people shooting at him.
Nice. I will get between the shooters and the child. And since now the firefight is definitely in mode,
You want to use that held action? Or do you
yes.
want that readied action?
And I'm sorry if you hear a dog in the background. He's barking right now.
He's just having a good old time. It'll be all right.
Half the players got dogs. Just roll with it.
Yeah. All right. And what would work best in this situation?
Violence.
All right. I will... Let's see how these work out. Okay, there are... Let's see, they don't call these the prime forgings in my case. They function kind of like cantrips almost.
Yes.
All right. Must not save that one. That's
Money doesn't Dodson.
there we go. okay, they are not in cover, so this one would not help per se. But since I don't want everyone on the station to die suddenly, just the small arms fire randomly going on, I'll actually try this one just to see what it does.
Alright, what's it do? Or what's it called?
Short and simple, laser blast.
That's pretty self-explanatory, I suppose. I'm guessing you have to make an attack roll with it, and it does damage.
It's a forging. It's a forging spell, more or less.
Technique.
Technique, yes. Okay.
Now, it's a rank 1, so that's basically a level 1 rather than a prime.
Yes. Where is this? That's the page number I needed. Okay.
Alright, so you make a ranged forging attack. Which
Yes.
is like the spell attacks in D&D.
Yeah. Let's see. That's not great.
Alright, so it's a 7 plus 2 for your proficiency bonus.
Okay, my Esper attack bonus is +5, so it's 12.
Okay. So yeah, that one goes wide, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check their AC. Yeah. So a 12 misses, it goes... Which one were you aiming at?
Let's see, I was... Where are we? Dice roller go away. I was actually aiming at that guy.
Alright,
So more likely... It probably blows up the food dispenser, more or less.
It does.
I was gonna get a hamburger, man.
That poor food dispenser.
To which I kind of turn to the family. I'm now sort of shielding. Oh, speaking of shield, I actually pop one. The shield I actually have on my character is deployable.
Okay.
And I turn to the family and goes, don't worry, I can fix that.
I tell him I can fix it, like a liar.
On the other hand, I actually can.
There's got to be at least a few pieces of it left. All right.
Yeah.
Taylor, or what was it?
Danru.
Danru. I'll learn the names eventually. It's a surprise round for you, but all this laser fire's gone off. You look up in surprise. You hear somebody shouting that it's a gun. And then you see, all the bystanders that are in the area. You see the mother here look up from her book. And then it is Jade's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Anna?
I'm gonna follow Francis. And as I pass him, I'll say, "Come on, Slowpoke."
Run away, run away. Alright, that brings us back to the top of the order. Or I should say last, all the pedestrians can go. Alright, so the dad here grabs his kid and runs past Arden and Kat. The distracted mother grabs the other kid and takes off with him. This family reverses course. The annoying family that was bugging Patrick so much runs around the corner of the kiosk and just kind of ducks down, as though the little flimsy, glass and plastic kiosk is going to offer them much protection. Let's see. This guy runs off. The person in the kiosk also just ducks and covers. The guy and his kid directly behind Patrick just sort of freeze. Because somebody ran behind him got a gun. There's two guys in front of him with a gun. The guy right in front of him just blew up something. So he picks up his kid like he's going to run. Then it's like he freezes and doesn't know which way. Doesn't know whether to zig or zag. Which brings us to the top of the order, Patrick. Or I should say Hull.
Okay, and by standards, they just go whenever, or do they actually have an initiative?
They go last.
Gotcha. And to which I will, considering my prime charisma of 10, however, I will actually try to tell them, stay behind me. Okay. And now in this case, I will use that little cantrip and electrical surge.
Okay. What does that do?
Okay, electrical surge. Range 60 feet, action mention, a spike of surging electricity towards the target within range. Another make a ranged forging attack. 1d8 lightning damage, and they do not gain any cover from it as well.
Okay.
Basically, I'm shooting a taser.
Gotcha.
Long range taser.
Yeah,
Another attack
and
spell
for
with lower damage because it's just a prime.
yeah, and also for effect, what you don't see is that I'm not actually firing any of these things per se. The drones are actually what's actually doing the shooting.
Okay.
That's more just an effect.
Yeah. Well, the engineer is one that channels their Esper abilities through tech.
So essentially, a little orb will fly over and basically zap the guy I was trying to shoot previously.
Okay.
And let's see if I roll better this one. So far, I rolled great for initiative, bad on everything else. Oh, not bad.
That's a hit. You said it did how much damage?
D8.
You have to roll the damage, though.
Yeah. That's a D8. Okay, it's just a D8, nothing else plus. So.
Well, it's the baseline one that you can use every round, though. So
5 damage.
you rolled a 2 and then you rolled a 5. You hit it twice, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So he gives a little start and kind of narrows his eyes at you. Which, granted, the big laser blast had probably gotten his attention already, but Cat, you're up.
Let's see. Seeing the fact that the replicator is now on fire, she is going to... honestly, probably run away as well, because, oh god, the death squad's found us. So she's gonna 30 feet of movement up here. It's kind of like as she's running, kind of baps Adrian on the back of the head. Hey, they're shooting.
Yes.
He just goes, "Yep, I noticed. Thank you."
Alright, and then it is Francis's turn.
Alright, as far as Francis is concerned, he's just been shot at. So in a panic, he's gonna spin around, pull out his heavy pistol, and take a shot off at this guy.
Try to stop him, but it's not quick enough.
Have you ever been able to stop me from shooting someone whenever I feel like I need to shoot someone?
Francis lives by the Han Solo rule. Always shoot first.
Crap!
And now you miss.
In fairness, it was a very panicked shot.
And this mother and her child back here are, are now convinced that they're being shot at as the blast flies past them and takes out this screen.
Oh, God!
Why don't you ever listen?
I love the little fire icons. This is great.
Yeah, I've had fun with them in the Icons games as well. I keep meaning to go put it on a transparency, but I'm lazy.
Yeah, but for the sake of this game, keeping it in squares is easier to notice exactly where not to step.
Mm-hmm.
A fair point there.
Very true.
Alright, then it is this gun guy who has just seen you shoot at his buddy. But doesn't seem to care overly much. He shoots at the blonde guy again. Alright, not a great roll. Let's see what his plus is. And no, he misses. Arden, you're up.
Okay, Adrian's gonna blink at Cat's like, think that they were after us, they'd be aiming at us. And he'll let me double check my distance. Okay. He's going to head up 5, 10, 15, 20 up here. Yeah. He'll pull out his pistol and shoot at this guy.
Okay.
Because they are causing chaos and mayhem as far as he knows. He's going to want to put a stop to that.
Because that's just the kind of person he is.
Yeah, he is. He is a good character.
Or you're just upset it's not you.
Is your 15 going to hit, sir?
Off the top of my head, I believe so, but I shall double check, and indeed it hits.
Okay, and he will take 6 piercing damage. And then, taking the last bit of his movement, he is going to sort of break line of sight by ducking behind the now completely on fire food replicator. And that will be the end of my turn.
Yes, it's a nice little fire going. Clearly, there was a lot of fatty foods in there.
Yeah, he's nice and toasty right now. It's cold in the vacuum of space.
And then it's the guy you just shot that goes.
Yep.
You see him look over his shoulder at you just as you're ducking behind the fire. And you'd swear you saw death in his eyes. But then he ignores you and continues after his target. 5, 10, 20, 30. Oh, that's not going to end well for this guy. The blonde man hits the ground. He's probably not dead yet, but he's definitely unconscious. Oh, and then it's the blonde guy. Yeah, he drools out the left side of his mouth for his turn. Alright, Danru, you're up.
Alright, well, I'm a big old distance away.
And you took all melee with
So I guess, Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and pop my shield and begin sprinting. This is a full action move 60. My base is 30.
Yes, I believe so.
Each square is 5 foot represented.
Yes. Diagonals don't count as anything special.
4, 5, 6. Bam. You know, I'll shout, non-combatants need to leave the area. And to all parties involved, no explosives, nobody wants to die here.
Please, no explosives. Remember, we are in a space station. You see all that space outside the window? We do not want to be there. Alright. Yeah, okay. Yeah, dash is the old double move, basically. Alright.
Yeah.
Jade. Francis has engaged in combat. Again.
Damn it, Francis. Why? Every time we go somewhere, this happens. They shot me first. At me. That is a bad excuse. We're decided to choose our next destination.
Trying to get your character to
Yeah, man. I'm going to shoot this one
Okay.
with my pistol. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Oh,
So
shit. Damn it.
25.
Yeah, add 6 to that. Ah,
Oh, okay.
I see.
Well, the die roll by itself would have hit them. They are not heavily armored because they were, trying to pass as average folk.
Oh, motherfucker. I'm so sorry, language.
It's not the worst.
I'm not
thing
used to
you-
this
the
dice
worst
roller.
language you've used, so. What now? Okay, your pistol does a D4.
No, it.
This is 6. 6 plus 2.
Oh, okay.
6 plus 2.
I thought you were upset about
Damn.
the 1, not rolling a wrong die. Alright, so 7. Okay, it hits. He's unhappy.
I'm very uncomfortable.
There's a slight look of frustration on his face, like, this is turning out to be harder than it was supposed to be. And then the bystanders. Let's see, these managed to get off the map. This little family manages to get off the map. This woman gets right to the edge of the map, but is still there. People ducking and covering or staying ducked. This one gets off the map. This one gets off the map. So your battle area is starting to empty out some. The fella right behind you, Patrick.
Yes.
He's already grabbed his kid up and just kind of swings around like he's trying to keep you between them and anybody shooting. Which, to be fair, you told him to stay behind you, so. Jade, he keeps glancing over his shoulder at you like he's wanting to make sure where you're pointing that gun. And then it is the top of the order with Patrick. Or excuse me, Hull.
And threatened squares or attacks of opportunity are still the...
They work just like they do in D&D. So when he leaves your... Not when he leaves a threatened square, but when he leaves your threatened area. Or vice versa. So you could run circles around him, but as soon as you stepped away from his reach, if he had a melee weapon out, he could try to pop you with it. But he's got a pistol out, so...
Yep. I go over to the blonde gentleman, and using another prime, I will stable.
Okay. His breath's kind of raggedy when you get there, when you touch him, or gesture at him, or whatever it is you have to do.
In my case, like another little drone comes back and just sort of injects something into him.
A little needle pops out of it and it just dive bombs him. He gives a kind of a start, and then his breath seems to kind of stabilize out, even out. So you don't think he is in any danger of dying, assuming he doesn't get shot some more. Cat.
Seeing that everyone's running past her and Adrian kind of decided, oh, we're going to take shots at something. She's like, oh, okay, so we're fighting now, I guess. She is going to use her full movement to sprint. Put her right over here. And that's her move.
Okay.
So I'm assuming we can't. The trees are too dense to shoot through. I couldn't already use my movement.
They are the the little ones like you'd see in a mall, and the branches are probably up yay high, head level or so. So you wouldn't have too much trouble firing between them.
You better mean you're firing between the trees and not through the tree.
Carefully between the branches, like threading the needle.
Otherwise, Nature Boy here is gonna get upset.
I'll let it slide for now.
She used her movement and then bonus to continue to move, so that is her move.
Okay. Francis?
And just to ask for the cash, your real last name wouldn't happen to be Onceler, would it?
What now? Oh, the kiosk. You don't know. You haven't had a chance to ask. Oh, cash. I thought you said cashier. My bad. But you still, you have not had a chance to ask. All right, Francis, what you doing?
Popping a shot off at this fine young gentleman right here.
Alrighty. Let him have it.
13 to hit.
Believe that's going to be just a little shy. Yep, just barely misses him. You clip the collar on his coat, but don't actually hit him. And then his buddy goes. 15, 20. He runs up right next to the blonde guy. Pistol out, straight down towards the ground. And just starts emptying the pistol into the case the guy was carrying. Which he, of course, dropped when he fell unconscious. As he's firing into it, Patrick, so what was your passive perception again?
13.
Okay. As he's firing into it, between, of course, the laser blasts are, of course, generating light when they hit. But even in between blasts, you're seeing, like, sparks and kind of little flares of energy from inside the case. You're assuming some powered device was in there and is, shortening. Sparking off as it's taking damage. Ardent Steel.
Okay, he's going to come over here by the cache. I'll have to get a little bit closer. So you start over here, so... Actually, yeah, what he's going to do is... Yeah, he'll come over.
Okay.
He will expend one of his forging talents to use voltaic charge. And theoretically, since this one is kind of engaged with our engineer friend, if I shot him in the back, that be at advantage?
How close do you have to be for that?
50 feet is the maximum normal range. So he's 40 feet away from.
Yeah, I'll give you advantage on that.
Okay. Advantage. With a 16.
Okay. That is a hit. Roll damage.
Hit, okay. So he takes the initial bolt that is also wreathed in electricity for an additional 3 lightning damage.
Alright, so 8 total.
Yep.
He's starting to look a little rough. He is indeed starting to look a little rough.
And Adrian, with his last 5 feet of movement, will duck back here and sort of keep the trees between him and the guy he just.
Okay.
And that'll be his turn.
Alright, so after him, it's the guy he just shot.
Don't see me. I don't exist.
I'm just a really weird looking tree. He done saw you.
You
Yeah, probably.
have his attention.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
He is not happy with you, my friend. What is your AC?
Okay. Not very high.
Well, he rolled a 2 on the die, so it may not matter.
Okay.
I think he's got a plus. Yeah.
Is his total lower than a 13?
His total is single digits, so.
Okay, so he misses. Yeah.
Does he shoot the tree?
You know, that was my first thought as well, but at that angle, no. It just arcs over here and hits the window over here. Let's see, blonde guy is out of it. And it is now our large Kesh friend. Danru,
Who
you're up.
realizes the mistake this man has just made. He has stepped within my range.
You're welcome.
And I know for a fact he's a man that has shot another man in the back. I don't much care for that.
You just don't cotton to that kind of behavior.
I'll
He
just
already
stroll
doesn't like
right on up
Adrian.
on him. Put both hands behind my head and start swinging over as a glaive comes out of my hand.
Now, with a glaive, you know you have reach, so you can stand 5 feet further back from him.
Yep. But then he can take a 5-foot step out of that reach without me getting an attack of opportunity.
A fair point.
And
I'll
he's
look
got
in
a
his
gun.
business.
He's got a gun. I need this as close range as possible.
Alright, give me the attack roll.
Ha!
Oh.
Oh!
No.
It just slams down and hits nothing.
Did it whiff any of the tree, though?
No,
Nah,
way too far.
it's just
Okay.
straight down. All that
Jade.
running off center.
Well, you're just not used to station gravity yet, that's all it is. Jade, you're up.
So I see the big giant guy over there dealing with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna consider that one done. And going to go around Francis and start shooting this one.
Alright.
Phone keeps.
16 hit.
That's going to be a hit.
Yay. Oh.
3 damage is better than no damage.
It's all damage.
This combat has just been an emotional roller coaster for Anna. A hit! Yay! I do 2 damage. Oh. Alright.
Just damage.
And then most of the rest of the bystanders will be able to clear off now. Since his cover ran away, this guy has decided to truck it. He actually starts to run up the gangplank to one of the little shuttlecrafts that have not departed yet. Which, you know, would normally be against the rules, but I don't think anybody's going to care at this point.
Shooting people probably isn't, within the rules either, so he's fine.
That family scoots around some more. Patrick, you're up.
Alright.
What does the mighty hole do?
The mighty hull will...
Ooh, your last name starts with a K. So.
I see what you did.
That was actually unintentional, but still.
Really? I was suspecting you did it on purpose as soon as I saw it. So I guess that'd make more sense if he'd been a warrior.
Sensory. Let's see. Since it's now become more obvious that a select group of people are actually trying to stop this, I will activate Sensory Boost.
Since you have now established you're on a team, what does Sensory
Or at least to provide sensory upgrade up to 3 creatures of your choice with range. Let's see. Okay, it's actually within... It's only 30 feet, so I would only be able to help out...
You'd get Francis and Jade.
Yeah.
Which still, those are the 2 that are, basically engaged, or in range to easily engage with the guy you're engaged with, so.
Alright, Sensory Boost. 1 action. Range 30 feet. Concentration. And you get a +2 to all attack rolls and saving throws for the effects.
Yeah.
So much like a bard, you'll have to remind them every round when they make a roll. Ooh, I need to do little tokens that I can throw out on the map for that kind of stuff.
That would actually help a lot.
I have something to do after stream tonight. Alright. Let's see. So that was Patrick's turn. Are you going to move or anything?
Yeah, actually, 1 double. And just for my benefit, I'll actually be one of those, because it doesn't specify it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, bards can usually buff themselves as well, I think.
And
This is sounding like Space Cleric to me.
that's more or less what the engineer is, all
You're
things
right, that might
considered.
be more like the blessed spell than the bardic inspiration.
I'm just going to go over here and get at least some cover.
And leave the blonde man to his fate.
Curse the slothful goodness.
Damn you, goodness. I would let you snag his collar as a bonus action if you want to drag him with you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because he certainly ain't resisting.
You'll have to move him.
That's right.
Thank you.
The little cashier sees you drag that guy around. Is he dead?
No, he's stable right now.
She looks a little relieved, like, she'd really have gone through the day without seeing a body. She is definitely not adventure material.
Oh, and by effect-wise, when that little boost, basically a little micro-drone flies up and basically gives you additional targeting data in front of you. That's just for effects-wise.
So I'm picturing the little sphere running up, attaching to the gun, and being a laser pointer.
Congratulations, you now have aimbot.
Aimbot. Oh.
Freak out and try to shake it off.
And the ability to distract cats.
Like, looking around like, ooh, huh, huh.
And cat people, because you have cat people in this city. Alright, Cat, you're up. Speaking of cat people.
She is going to move over here because people be taking shots at Adrian. And fire at that dude.
Alright.
She's also going to use Death Strike since he is within 5 feet of an enemy. I'm gonna not because that's a crit fail.
Wouldn't you be at advantage, though, with Death Strike?
I would be, actually, yeah.
So you get to use the 14, which is just what you
I
need.
can use the 14. Yeah.
So, 6 piercing.
And rolling the Death Strike damage, which is an extra 1d6 of damage.
That's right, Death Strike is basically sneak attack. More or less.
Yeah, more or less.
So, 11 total. This guy's looking on his last leg. He kind of staggers under that shot.
And that's my turn.
As he takes those shots, Danru, you hear him mutter under his breath about little embers thinking they can burn him.
Huh.
He says it like ember is a derogatory term, but it's not an insult you've ever heard used or referred to anybody. And then it is Francis's turn.
Alright, fantastic. And with that additional little
It
plus...
was to damage, wasn't it? Or was it to hit?
It was +2 to hit.
Ah,
Yeah.
my bad.
So I
And
might
plus-
actually be able to hit someone this combat.
It's +2 to hit and +2 to your saving throws.
Awesome.
Should that come up.
Try and beam this guy right in the chest.
Okay.
20 to hit.
That's probably going to hit you.
And how much damage? That's 1d8 plus 2. Thank you, dears.
Welcome.
Alright, so 8 points. This guy's starting to look kind of rough. Not as bad as his buddy, but he looks like he's been in a fight. Oh, and then it's his turn. He's going to return fire on Francis. He looks you in the eye. Let's see, what would he call you? This didn't concern you, reptile. It didn't concern any of you. Does a 20 hit you?
Yes.
Yay, I get to roll damage. I mean, I rolled in another NPC, but that's just not the same.
First blood.
+2. That'd be 6 points of damage to you.
Oh, yeah, Francis is feeling that.
Oh, that's right. Y'all are first level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He laughs.
Arden Steel.
He's... Adrian will step back over here. This thing is... Oh. Yeah, he's gonna take another shot at the guy who's kind of locked onto him.
Okay.
But an 8 will probably not hit.
No, a laser's not going to hit.
Okay.
Well, not that guy, at least. Let's
Yeah,
see.
Payphone over there is feeling it.
Yeah, it's over here in the window.
Okay. So, seeing that, he is gonna go, well, shitball. And so, let's see, let's 10. Yeah, he's gonna come over here to keep cover between him and the guy who he's been shooting. And that will be his turn.
And then it's the guy who was shooting's turn.
Yeah.
He has a target-rich environment.
Yeah.
But I think Arden has kept his attention. Let's see. But he also wants to get away from the cache if he can.
Not in 5 feet, you can't.
This is true. And while it hasn't really come up yet, it is important to note. Well, I'm going to think of it though. Even in 5th edition, 5-foot step is no longer a thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's true.
You can use your move action to do it, and it still doesn't invoke attacks of opportunity and all that, but it takes your move action.
Oh, okay.
Now, he can also take a disengage action and move his full speed. But that takes his action and his move.
Yeah.
But he does none of that. He just runs for Arden.
So I get a free swipe?
You get a free swipe.
Alright, that'll be a... If I'm not mistaken, a 17. Let me double check. Does it hit on a 16?
Yes, he hits on 16.
Alright then. That will be just a flat 6 on him.
Alright, so 6 points of damage. You bring the glaive around in kind of an overhanded swing. It is a beautiful strike to the neck. The head just kind of rolls across the blade and off.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
Thank you. From the other side of the trees.
Does it go into the flaming replicator?
All you hear is the trees thanking you.
Because he is the Lorax. He speaks to the tree. Or I guess the trees speak to him. Anyway. So you three that were engaging him. Danru, Cat, and Arden. Give me perception checks. Arden, you are at disadvantage.
Alright. No, I know it's not, like, intentional because his name is Adrian, but I think I'm just gonna have his, like, his cover name just be Arden now, just because you've been saying that.
I misread it the first time I looked at it, and that has been stuck in my head ever since.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I'll just say, yeah, he's just going to introduce himself as Arden to people until he gives them his real name. I'm going to roll with it. It's going to happen now. This is becoming a thing. Okay, so
It's RP,
disadvantage.
it's cooperative.
Yeah.
Really disadvantage.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, the
I'm on the other side
disadvantage
of
was
the
1
trees.
point different.
Yeah.
You were
From a
just
2 to
destined
a,
not
to a
see
1.
it.
Yeah. I mean, he's on the other side of trees, so I'm not surprised anyway.
Alright, and what
Like
was
a
your
leaf in
what
his
is your
face.
perception bonus, Taylor? You rolled a 10. What was the plus on it?
2, so 12.
Okay.
And I have a line of sight to that, or would this be something I'd be able to see or no?
You're even further away than Arden, and probably
Okay.
got more of your attention on this other guy, so I'm going to say no.
Understandable.
In fact, with Taylor's roll standing right next to the guy, he don't even notice. He's too busy focused on the head and knowing that he has put down a threat before he can get to the trees. Or, people.
He is going for the trees, so, you never know.
Cat, what you
I
notice,
feel very odd.
and you only see it for a split second, is a sort of... Have you ever played, as a kid or an adult, whatever, been playing with a garden hose, and you just happen to arc the water out, you spritz the water out into a little mist, put your thumb over whatever, and you kind of see a rainbow through it?
Yep.
The light catches it. You see something that makes you think of that kind of spewing out of the guy's neck for just a moment. And it's very dim, kind of, washed out. It's just barely noticeable. But you're pretty sure blood spray doesn't cause the light to refract like that.
She's probably like, there's probably some fumes leaking from this thing over here, and the light, and there's a perfectly logical explanation for this.
There was probably some pot brownies in that machine, and that's what I'm...
Actually, she'd be okay with that. She has a advantage on saving throws against hallucinatory effects.
Well, then she would know that that's
Her
not
and
what's
Adrian.
causing it.
Let's say her and Adrian both do, because they're both Prometheans.
Alright, so that's all for him. Blondie has been out of it. Alright, now how are we back around? Oh, I started clicking next and it was really all... I was clicking like people had been taking their turns and they had not been taking their turns. Alright. That was his turn, then it was Blondie's. Alright, so yeah, it is Taylor's turn. That's right, because you made your attack on an attack of opportunity, not on a round. So it's your turn. What do you do?
Glaive goes away, shield pops back out. I shout to the other one to surrender, and then just charge. Get right up on him.
Okay, I'm trying to remember his charge.
Full
Charge is
move.
still a thing, isn't it?
I don't have. Well,
Pretty sure charge is still a thing. Let me check.
I was more or less just gonna run up on him and go, I'm the closest, most forward target to you. Sit down.
So you're trying to intimidate, basically.
I'm politely requesting that he stop what he's doing.
Sir, if you could hit me first.
Then it is Jade's turn.
Seeing the damage that her partner just took, she's gonna kind of step in front of him.
Aww.
And shoot that guy.
Okay.
I already had it.
Okay. She's also gonna be bitching at Francis about being hit.
Alright, so that's a total of a 13. That's a miss. The blast goes into the kiosk. The cashier screams. The family's behind the thing screams. You hear the child start crying.
You did add the +2, right?
Yeah.
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 Is everything on this station flammable?
It seems like a bad design choice.
Well, that one had like the inside had like a felt covering.
I get the feeling it's just become a trend. Wherever we go, we just set fires.
Well, not intentionally.
Why did
but
they
it would be
build-
funny.
Why did they build this out of incineradium?
Why isn't the sprinkler system coming on? This isn't up to code.
Well, it is a very old station.
It's not
In
an
fact, you're
excuse.
fairly certain it may be the only one of this model still in use.
For some
it's been-
mysterious reason.
It was carefully refurbished before they moved it out here, and it's only been here about 100 years. I'm sure.
It was formerly the Hindenburg station.
Still might be.
It's now known as Deep Space Titanic. It'll be fine. Alright.
As long as no comets come by. Because, those things are mostly made out of ice.
That would be the best analog for an iceberg in space, yeah. Alright, this guy gets on board the ship.
Doesn't even care where it's going. Just get me out of here.
Well, it's just a shuttlecraft, so it's not like he's going to wind up in some other system in it.
Yeah.
Going down to the planet.
In fact, this round, that shuttlecraft decouples from the side and starts slowly moving away. Let's see. All the other bystanders stay ducked and covered. Patrick, you're up.
Oh. Can I see inside the suitcase that he shot up?
Not from the suitcase is essentially right here. So you really can't see inside it from where you're at. The holes he blasted in are basically on the top.
Okay.
But having put a couple of rounds in, he doesn't seem to be interested in it anymore. So.
I'll use my taser on him again.
Okay.
Electric surge. Because that actually, even if he has cover, it negates it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very solid hit. Roll your damage.
Nice.
Nice.
He shudders about like you'd expect somebody from a taser. He kind of staggers forward, but he doesn't quite go down from it. He's looking pretty bad, though. He does not have much fight left in him. So even from the distance you are, Kat, you can tell that this guy is getting roughed up pretty bad.
Yeah. She'd be able to take a shot at him from there without. Well, she wouldn't hit anyone, correct?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, she is definitely going to take a shot at him then. 20 to
20's
hit.
definitely going to hit.
Rolling Death Strike, and 8 total damage.
Is she close enough for Death Strike?
It's.
At 5e, there isn't any range limit.
Yeah, it's things just
Okay.
as long as there's an enemy within 5 feet.
Okay. I was thinking there was still a certain, but maybe not.
Yeah,
It doesn't mention one.
Okay.
it holds over the same. for
She's
rogue.
essentially doing what Wayne's doing on our campaign.
Oh,
Because he doesn't have to be close for that.
That's right.
Yeah,
the murder midget can do that from very far away.
If it's the same holdover for rogues, basically, as long as they can find a situation to get advantage, they can use their sneak.
True enough. True
Yeah.
enough.
So,
So yeah, no problems there. So that's a total of 8. Yeah.
And she's gonna just move up a little bit.
He goes down.
And she's definitely gonna move up then.
All right, you're too far away to notice it. Arden is probably too far away. But everybody kind of over in this general area. Give me a perception check. I'm going to say Francis is at disadvantage.
Sorry, Francis. No, I'll forgive you.
I'm the GM. I don't need your forgiveness.
That'd be a 13 for me.
Yeah,
It'd be a 19 for me.
Lost it again.
All right. So Cat's blast took him, in the chest, where his little mesh, I think probably the equivalent of Kevlar, reinforced mesh, low-level armor that you could wear under clothes. It was already messed up, so she blows a decent-sized hole in his chest, or burns a decent-sized hole in his chest, depending on what the damage type was. As he falls back, Taylor, you see that rainbow kind of mist effect that I had described before. Let's see, where's Patrick's roll?
14.
14. Alright, you don't notice it. See, Jade notices it. And Francis does not. And like I said, it's just there, just long enough for you to kind of go, huh? But then it's gone, so you're not really sure you saw it.
Yeah, I imagine with the fire behind them, I would just kind of dismiss it.
But yeah, the little bit of fire in the kiosk goes out almost immediately. It burns that little bit of felt that it hit. Within a few seconds of the fight ending, some little drones come flying in and start spritzing foam on the fires. Shortly thereafter, security swarms the area. They come in, everyone is told to put their weapons down. Drop your weapons, hit the ground. Is it safe to assume no one is resisting?
Yeah, it's pretty safe.
Since Adrian's kind of behind-ish the trees, he's gonna just put his pistol back away in his jacket, and then hit the ground.
Okay, give me a bluff, I guess.
A bluff?
Or
Sleight of hand, maybe?
yeah, maybe. Let me find the character sheet right quick and see what the list of skills actually is, because I know it's a little different than...
Sleight of hand does exist.
Okay, if sleight of hand exists, give me sleight of hand.
This is gonna go poorly.
Quite possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
They rolled a 17 on their dice. Drop
Okay.
the gun!
Cat is gonna attempt the same thing.
The one looking at you rolled much poorer. You put yours up.
Okay,
Hell,
and then
just-
she would...
Adrian's AC, though.
Now it is
Yeah.
time for me to inform the police of everyone that took a shot during this encounter.
He'll just
Oh.
put it in by the trees, I guess. And just sit down, kind of huff.
I mean, there are security cameras as well, most likely.
Oh, yes.
So-
It's just the initial.
They know-
we show
they-
up, the scene is
Yeah.
just going down. There's bodies, there's all kinds of people with guns.
Mm-hmm.
How is the gentleman that I stabilized? The blonde gentleman.
He's okay. He's not going to regain consciousness without some more, medical attention. I mean, if you just left him laying there, he'd probably wake up in the next day or something. But he's not bleeding
And
out.
also, I moved this location for a very particular reason. So I can look inside the briefcase, and I'd like to use the engineer's analyze device.
Okay, explain to me how that works. Or what pages up there. Look at it.
Let's see. That's on 215. You discover all commands, workings, and the electronic or mechanical functions. Okay, one automaton, construct, device, machine, or vehicle. You gain basic knowledge on how to activate or operate the device. You still need the appropriate checks to use advanced functions or access data at the GM. I'm just trying to get a good idea of what that thing actually
You said it
was.
was on which
Essentially, it's should be 215.
250. I flipped to 115. That would be the problem.
More or less, it's identify device. Ways.
Okay. It's one of your abilities. I was thinking like a class feature.
Yeah, it's a prime.
Alright, it takes a full minute to do that.
Oh.
And so
Poop.
you have to be touching it.
I try to move next to it.
Okay, well, the station security does not leave you alone long enough for you to really finish examining it. You know, when they see you looking at it too closely, they tell you don't touch anything.
Before security had come in, would Kat have had enough time to rifle through the guy she killed's pockets?
Sure. You wouldn't be able to take, you wouldn't be able to take any clothing off of him or.
No, just seeing if there's
just a quick
anything.
check of his pockets, sure.
Anything you want me to roll for that?
Roll the sleight of hand, I guess, to make sure nobody notices you doing it.
Gotcha.
Make your loot the body roll.
Jeez.
Yeah, the security was too far away to really notice you doing that. They were distracted by the
You
fires.
You wanted his shit. Dude.
Danru, what is your passive perception?
Passive.
Never mind. She rolled a 26. I know your passive ain't gonna be that high.
It's
Just
not
look.
a 30.
I just know of everybody, you're the one most likely if you saw it to tell the cops about it. But you didn't see nothing.
Fiddling through his pockets? Who do you mean? What are you talking about? I was just adjusting his jacket.
There is some handful of credits, nothing massive. I'm blanking on the moment on what kind of money this system uses. I want to say cred sticks, but that may be Starfinder. Since I wrote
I think it's Cubal. Hold on, that's
You're
actually
right,
I got
you're
the
right.
sheet.
I think you're right. I think it is Cubles.
Cubil.
Cubel?
Yep.
We'll call them C-bills for the moment. So anyway, you find a little bit of money, not, what you would typically expect some guy walking to a station to have in his wallet. He's got some ID on him.
She'll take a quick glance at the ID, but not remove it from his body.
Okay. If it ever becomes important, I'll give you what his name and stuff is.
Yeah.
Nothing on it really stands out. He's not like from your home world or anything like that.
Alright. And then she would go about hiding the pistol and listening to the security force.
All right. So they immediately, none of you resist, so, none of you get shot. They immediately begin questioning everyone, working out exactly what happened. As they're talking to you, you see some of them take calls where clearly somewhere else in the station they have access to some of the security footage. So very, very quickly they piece together that these two guys started it, that you lot basically intervened to try to stop the situation. So, you're not in any trouble. you know, they're actually fairly appreciative of for your help. So they didn't know what these guys, you know, what this was about. EMTs show up. They start taking care of the blonde guy. They get him kind of roused up a little bit. But not really enough that they can really talk to him. He regains consciousness, but he's kind of out of it. You know, he manages to give him his name, but he's too fuzzy on anything else. They do check him for ID, and he's got his ID. You hear one of the cops mention something about him being a courier. You know, and they rattle off the name of a courier service that several of you would have heard of. Let's see. They cart off the bodies. They take the case with them. As Patrick stares at it longingly.
We will meet again.
Was I during this, but we have had long enough to get a short rest by chance?
Yes. Yeah, y'all are standing around for 15 or 20 minutes.
Right.
I mean, they're fairly thorough, but they don't spend a whole lot of time because all the witnesses are basically, while the testimony is chaotic as it always is, and you know, big incidents like that, it more or less matches up. They've got video footage of most of it. You know, they ask you for your contact information in case they need to do any follow up. But you are not under any specific orders to stay on the station. You know, the station had briefly gone into lockdown. You know, as soon as they detected a firefight, the station locked down. But they rescind that fairly quickly. You know, they do a sweep of the entire station to make sure there was nothing else going on.
Yeah. He'll give his pseudonym, which is Arden, instead of his actual name.
Arden Irons. But
Cap gives her fake name too.
Now, do y'all have fake IDs to go with these names?
She actually would have bought one before she left planet.
Okay.
Yep, we both do.
I was thinking y'all had said something in y'all's background about having alternate IDs.
They both have fake IDs for their alternate. Yeah, his would be Arden Silvers. Or no,
Cap
Arden
Smith.
Yeah, Arden Sterling. What it would be actually. Play on silver, but it sounds better.
All right. So as y'all are all getting ready to depart, let's see. You're giving the police your contact information. They give you directions to basically a hotel here on the station. You know, somewhere where you could stay for the day. With the lockdown, even though they rescinded the lockdown fairly quickly, it's going to throw schedules off. You know, they tell you it'll probably be tomorrow before any ships actually manage to ship out. So unless any of you have a particular reason that you don't want to stay, you know, in a hotel, if y'all just walk the station for, you know, all night or something, I'll assume that y'all retire for the evening.
Yeah. Soft bed's better than hard bench.
And before everybody leaves, my character would like to thank them all for their quick action and protection of civilians.
Ah, it's not a problem. Not a problem.
You're welcome, my very large friend.
And y'all would recognize him probably as a sentinel. Sentinels are fairly noticeable. Now, like he said,
Sometimes.
a lot of his rig blends into his armor in general, but the engineering types particularly would probably notice at least a little bit. As you're turning in for the night, you all receive communiques. There is a man. Says he thanks you for saving the courier earlier. The package the man was carrying was destined for him. He would very much like to meet with you all. He has a business proposition to offer you. And, it's got an address. It's here on the station. A little poking around tells you that this address is kind of in the high-end neighborhood. The more posh section of the station. Most of your wealthier people in this system may have estates down on the planet, but also kind of almost as just a sign of status, they'll have not a summer home, but they'll have somewhere on the station that's like permanently theirs.
They'll have their permanent hotel room.
It's usually their own building, or the equivalent of a building on the
Skybox.
station.
Penthouse.
Yeah, it's at least
Sorry.
penthouse level quality, yeah. The message is signed Achille Vasher.
Oh, good. I thought it was going to be Fair and Steel.
Wrong campaign. And there's already a Steel in this campaign.
Yeah.
I know, that's why I was worried. Someone had accidentally brought the name.
Could you say his name one more time?
Who's? Oh, Achille Vasher.
Thank you. Is this a name any of us recognize?
It's a name most of you would probably recognize.
Oh?
At least the more human-ish ones of you. The
Let's
ones
see.
that count.
Let's say, given the name Adrian or Arden, as he's being known currently, will use his sim unit to dive into the Matrix and do some research.
Alright.
See if he can't pull anything.
Now I don't have a character sheet pulled up. What kind of knowledges do you have in this version?
There
I
is...
seem to be being a little skimpy in that.
As I'm
Alright, let's see.
realizing that some of...
I mean, there's a base skill for investigation.
And lore would be...
Yeah, but see, there's like lore, astrophysics, computers, xenobiology, are the four knowledge skills, so to speak.
So yeah, everybody could give me a lore roll. Humans and Prometheans would have advantage on it.
I'm realizing that my sheet decided, yo, fucktard, I'm gonna change everything, so I
Heh,
don't have any
The man's
skills
not a farmer. I don't know him.
The man is not a farmer.
I don't know him.
It's okay.
Given her background, would Kat know anything more about him due to that?
Not specifically, no.
Okay.
Alright, so let's see.
Let
Are
me...
we starting on that 18? Zach rolled an 18. That was your lore.
I am... Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Why'd you roll
18
mine
as
for?
well for me.
Where'd you roll it from?
Oh, I forgot to add mine, but each of them have a +2. I'm sorry.
Alright, so the 18 would know him. The 15 would know him. The 11 would not. The 15 wood. The 21 wood. And the 18 would. Okay.
It would actually be a 20. I just rolled a 2 for advantage disadvantage.
Oh, okay. So that basically means... Wait, Anna... Oh, wait. Anna had... That's right. Anna had a advantage as well. So, yeah, 15 gets it. So it looks like everybody except your Kesh friend recognizes the name. Achille Vasher, some 15 years ago, maybe more like 20. You don't remember exactly when the show got canceled, but he had for several years a very popular television series, or not television, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
He is an archaeologist, or a xenoarchaeologist, I suppose. And he had a show where he would take people around to, or the show would essentially take the viewer to different archaeological digs. Sometimes it'd be him exploring a particular planet. In some ways, think of him as a cross between Indiana Jones and Jacques Cousteau. You know, he is a trained archaeologist, but he also had a lot of, you know, flair for showmanship in kind of how he did it. While his show was not specifically marketed to children early on, a lot of kids grew up watching it. And the last few seasons, some of his sponsors really kind of pressed him towards toning down the violence that would happen in some of it. Because, you know, if you're exploring an unknown planet, things can happen. You know, he was known to lose people on expeditions occasionally. Not to an unusual degree, it's just, you know, if you're going somewhere new, stuff happens.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, he retired, you know, show closed down probably at least 15 years ago. So most of you would have been relatively young. I guess. I really haven't checked your ages, I'll be honest. Now that I think about it, I forget how old some of y'all can live.
I'll give you a hint. I'm probably older than that man.
That's true. The Kesh do have one of the longer lifespans. I think the Prometheans and humans are pretty close.
Ashen Forge do not.
But they wear out eventually, though. And then I don't remember how much the Lucius got, how old the Lucius got. Anyway, we were going to have the conversation with him, but us getting a late start, it is already 9 o'clock.
Hmm?
So we will go ahead and call it here. You can decide by next session whether or not you accept his invitation. It is essentially an invitation to dinner. He'd like to speak with you, and he invites you to his place for dinner. And like I said, he has a business proposition for you. So anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed it. Like I said, I meant for y'all to speak with him so that the entire session wasn't just a combat, but 45 minutes late. Hopefully we'll have the technical issues ironed out by next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially on my part.
Alright, so anyway, thank all of y'all for showing up, and again, with me, it has been Eric as Arden Steele, as Adrian Steele, I'll get it eventually.
Arden Sterling and Adrian Steele.
I'm just going to start calling him A.
It works.
Sarah with me as Kat, Taylor as Dan Rue, Patrick as Hull, and Zach and Anna as Francis and Jade, respectively.
Yo.
Thank all y'all for watching. I hope you'll tune in next week as we continue to explore the strange new worlds we've encountered, and eventually find out what's with the rainbow mist. It's going to be important. I'll just go ahead and spoil that for you. Anyway, we will see you next time.
Pot brownies?
Beg pardon?
It wasn't the pot brownies in the machine catching on fire?
That could finding out that that's what it is could be important. All right, we'll see all y'all next time.
Bye bye.